Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my videos. For this video, I'll be talking about my favorite books in the first quarter of 2014. So these are the books that I read from January to March and I loved and I covet and they're all-time favorites. Most of them are, and some of them are just 5 out of 5 stars, which is a pretty big deal, and I've accumulated a couple of books, which is real surprising. Last year, I feel, was a total flop in terms of how many books have basically been put on my coveted list of books. But this year, just the first 3 months, there are already like 11 books. That's amazing. I read, I think, 33 or 35 books from January to March, so 11 out of 33, that's like 33% of my books are 5 out of 5 stars. Is just crazy. So I will be doing this video also in June, or end of June actually, so it'll be in July. I'll be doing it also after September and again by the end of December or just early January 2015. So look out for those. So I divided this video in terms of genre. The first genre are dystopian books, specifically end of trilogies. There are 2. The first one is 3 by Kristen Simmons. This is part of the Article 5 trilogy. The first book is Article 5, the second one is Breaking Point, and the third is 3. This is about breaking some of the articles, and the main protagonist, Ember, broke article number 5, and basically what happened is that she was born out of wedlock. So apparently this is her fault, so she gets put into this rehabilitation center, but then someone that she knew from when she was a kid actually broke her out, and they went on this like, not really road trip, but it felt like a road trip, but they were kind of on the run. And then just the story goes on, and you know, a government and then revolution and everything, but it was done in such an amazing way. I loved it. I loved the first book so much, but the third book, 3, is actually my favorite. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love Ember and Chase. They're like one of my favorite love interests, or like basically couples in dystopian novels. I also really love a lot of the secondary characters. I will link my reviews of all 3 books down below, and let me know if you guys want a series review or something, if you want to know if you want any reviews of the books that I'll be showing. But I basically love this. I recommend it to so many dystopian fans. It's a kind of an underrated trilogy, and honestly, I feel like it's authentic dystopian, so more people should read about it. The second book should come as no surprise because, hello, I love this trilogy. Everyone loves this trilogy. I did a live show for this trilogy. And the book is Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi, part of the Shatter Me trilogy. I feel like there's no point in really explaining it, but I don't know, I might have new subscribers or new watchers that are new to reading and don't know about it, and I'll be missing out a chance on getting them hooked on this trilogy, so I will be explaining it, so bear with me. So this is the third book in the Shatter Me trilogy. The first one's Shatter Me, the second one's Unravel Me, and this is the third. There are also 2 novellas in between. 1.5 is called Destroy Me, and 2.5 is called Fracture Me. This trilogy talks about a girl who was imprisoned, or basically put in an asylum or something like that, for 264 days. She hasn't touched anyone in 264 days. I might be wrong about the exact number of days, and basically what happens is that her touch is lethal. Anyone she touches for a long time actually ends up dead or severely injured. And it starts when she gets taken by this guy called Warner, and just to run some experiments on her and basically to use her in something, you know, as a weapon for the government, because the government is corrupt and they'll take anyone they can use for that reason. And the story sort of goes on from there. The writing is lyrical, the writing is beautiful. I've never read such beautiful writing. It doesn't have it in this book, but there's a lot of like scratched out things in the book, and basically it's like you're immersed in the main protagonist Juliet's thoughts. The way it's written, the way things are being repeated, it's like literally as if you're in someone's brain and you're experiencing exactly what they're experiencing, their thoughts, and it's such a beautiful trilogy, and the development and character arc of all of the characters is just mind-blowing. Juliet, Adam, Warner, and even Kenji. It's just, the characters are so memorable. Kenji, I would love for him to be my best friend. And Warner is like one of my favorite all-time love interests, book boyfriends, oh my god, book husbands, for sure. So definitely check this trilogy out if you have not yet. I know it's really hyped up, but don't be afraid of the hype. Just go into it, and I'm pretty sure you're going to end up loving it. So moving on into my next section, which is paranormal books. I don't read a ton of paranormal these days, but there's one series that I started and I really loved the first book. First book is Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I'm one of the late people in the game. I have not read any of her books by... Yeah, I read this I think in January. So a lot of people have been pushing me to read her books, and because the movie was coming out, I decided I'd rather read the book first. And I'm happy that I did, because I really hated the movie and it's put me into this reading slump in terms of VA, and I haven't been able to pick up the third book, but let's forget about that. Positive things in this video only. Vampire Academy was such a fun book. I really loved it. As soon as I picked it up, I couldn't stop it. So it's about vampires and all that. Point is, I really like the main protagonist, Rose Hathaway. She is just so kick butt. I love the sarcasm. I just love her personality, and she's snarky and she's just loyal and a really good person, and I really liked it. I thought the whole book was really fun. I'm really excited to continue on with this Trilogy series, but as I mentioned, it's been halted for a bit, but I'm pretty sure I will be picking it up soon, especially with the introduction of Adrian. So the next group is high fantasy. Again, this is a genre I have not read a lot of, but recently, specifically this year, I've been reading more of. And the two books that are in this category are both from the same trilogy. Did you guess it? I'm pretty sure you did. The first is Shadow and Bone, and the second is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. Oh, one of my all-time favorite high fantasy books. I did not know high fantasy was this good. Why are you guys keeping that away from me? I finally figured that out, and I've been on such a high fantasy mood lately. Shadow and Bone is amazing. I love the whole idea behind it. I love the whole twist on, like, you know, the whole Russian history, even though it's not really accurate, but I don't really care because I don't know any Russian history, so I won't find any discrepancies or whatnot. But I really love the whole Grisha and the hierarchy, and I just love the whole feel of the book. Like, it's set in the olden days, like a kingdom kind of like style. And the main protagonist finds out she's a Grisha, and not just a Grisha, but one of the most powerful Grisha in the world. So she's taken to get trained, and I don't know what, and there's someone called the Darkling in this book who I love. And it's just a really great trilogy in terms of adventure, and the romance does not overtake the book at all. This is what I find troubling in a lot of adventure type books, that they are marketed as adventure type, but the romance just sort of like envelopes everything else. So I just love this trilogy. I love the main protagonist, Elena Starkov. I like the Darkling, Mal. I really Stormhand. I love all the characters. I love the plot. It's such a plot that you get immersed in, and I've been thinking about this trilogy ever since I read it, and I can't wait for the third book, Ruin and Rising, which is coming out in June. The covers are all beautiful, as you see here. This isn't the final cover. It's very similar though, because this is an arc, but I can't wait for the third book, and 5 out of 5 stars, all-time favorite for me. I really want to reread this because I love it so much. Okay, the next category, which is the bulk of this whole thing. There are actually 2 subcategories from this category. Can you tell I'm an organizational freak? Yes, I am. So this whole category is contemporary books, and there's 6 in total. 2, which I don't actually have with me. They're mystery contemporaries. I have 2 that I loved so much, and I think I read both of them last month. Yes, last month. The first is Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've spoken about this book and how much I loved it in my wrap-up, but I just want to say the mystery is amazing. I've also done a mini review that I will link below of Don't Look Back, along with another book, The Geography of You and Me by Jennifer E. Smith. But basically, one of the best mystery, like, Jennifer L. Armentrout is an amazing writer. I love her writing, and in this book specifically, the mystery was so gripping, the romance was just amazing, and just the characters and how suspicious you are of every single one and you can't guess who the killer is. It was done perfectly. I loved it. I couldn't stop reading it. I would read it any time I got, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I will leave again my mini review as well as my written review below. The next book is coming out actually next month, I think. It's The Secrets of Lily Graves by Sarah Strohmeyer. I've spoken about a specific book by Sarah Strohmeyer, Smart Girls Get What They Want, and it's one of my favorite books of last year. Or the year before, I'm not exactly sure. But this one, it's amazing. The plot is just so cool, and just to not talk a lot about it, but basically Lily Graves comes from a family of morticians, and someone from her high school gets is found dead. And then they proclaim that she was actually murdered, and the main suspect is the girl, the dead girl's boyfriend, who Lily Graves actually tutors, and they think something's going on between them or something, and so Lily Graves takes it upon herself to try to find the killer. And I just loved Lily Graves. I loved how she didn't care about anyone, but at the same time she still had insecurities, and I just loved the guy who I cannot remember his name because I read too many books, but I will be making a review of The Secrets of Lily Graves, so look out for that. But I just don't want to get too much into it, but the mystery, the ending, mind-blowing. I would never have imagined that happening and who the murderer was. It was just like, I need a few seconds to process this because this is a bit too much for me. But 5 out of 5 stars. One of my favorite books this year for sure. I loved it. And the cover is so pretty. And the next subcategory of the contemporary category is just contemporary books, realistic fiction, and I have 4. The first is Ditched: A Love Story by Robin Mellem. This, my sister loves this book so much, and she's been recommending it to me for a while, which is why I actually bought it off Book Outlet, but every time I try to pick it up and read a few pages, I was like, no, let's put it down, let's find something else. But then last week I was in such a contemporary kick that I'm like, I need to pick this up. I started it, could not put it down, and basically the girl, her name is Justina Griffith. She ends up going to her prom with her best friend, who is called Ian something. I can't remember his name, his last name. Ian Clark. And basically, you get the prologue sort of her post-prom. So basically, it's 6 a.m. the day after prom, and you find her like walking out of this side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and she sees a 7-Eleven. She goes there. She meets like the clerk, and she starts rehashing what happened in the past 12 hours by the stains on her dress, which is, I found to be really hilarious. So the first one, as you can see here, I think I've mentioned this before in my wrap-up or something. I don't know. I recall talking to a camera and pointing this out. So here, the first stain is this one. So she starts like rehashing it, and it's actually told in chronological order. So it's from, I think, a week before, or like you kind of figure out starting from when Ian and her become friends, and then it fast forwards to when he asks her to prom, and then it fast forwards to the night of prom, and that's when you kind of get like a hour by hour explanation of what went on, and it's hilarious. It's laugh out loud. I have laughed out loud so many times in this book. It's so cute, it's so adorable, it's really short, and I just love it. And it says here, there's a girl and there's a boy, then there's a ditch. So cute. I would be recommending this book, and I'm actually going to be doing a full review of this because there's so much cuteness and I need to spread the cuteness out to the world. The next book is My Life with the Walter Boys by Ali Novak. I've already done a mini review of this one. Not sure if it's posted or not, but I will be posting it. And this is about a girl who, see the sad face? It's sad in the beginning. Her parents as well as her sister get into a car accident and they pass away. So she ends up going to her mom's best friend's house, and her mom's best friend back from college actually. And that mom has 12 boys in the house. So it's a big house. Kind of reminds me, as I mentioned before, like a Cheaper by the Dozen feel. You put 12 guys in a house and then one girl and chaos ensues, like no joke. Actually, there was a lot of jokes, so lots of jokes. And I just loved it. It was part-time sweet, part-time sad, part-time hilarious, part-time cute, and the romance is also really cute. It says here, surprise number 1, Jackie's family dies in a freak car accident. Surprise number 2, Jackie has to move cross-country to live with the Walters, her new guardians. Surprise number 3, the Walters have 12 sons. Well, 11, but Parker acts like a boy anyway. Can't wait for the sequel. So this is like such a fun yet emotional book. I loved it. Now the last 2 books. Before the last is Biggest Flirts by Jennifer Eccles, the first book in the Superlatives. I also did a mini review of this. I will be posting it too. I think I did it with My Life with the Walter Boys actually. And I really love this book. Jennifer Eccles tends to write a bit more mature YA than just YA. So it's not typical, like a lot of things aren't really censored like typical YA books, but they're not as bad as some new adult books. Heads up for that. And this one, the concept is so cute, and it's these, this new guy comes transfers, I don't know, from Florida or something. I think they're in Florida, so he transfers from some other place, Iowa or something like that. I'm not even sure. He has a Midwestern accent, so I don't know. So he transfers to her school, and her name is Tia. So they do the whole flirting thing and stuff, but he wants a serious relationship, but she doesn't want a serious relationship, but the flirting still goes on, and then they end up getting voted as the biggest flirts in their senior class, and that brings a lot of awkwardness because that's when he starts dating this other girl or something like that. And Tia is just a really likable character, even though she's frustrating at times. I really liked her. I liked how she didn't care about what anyone thought of her, and I just liked how real these characters felt as high schoolers, especially seniors. A lot of YA books kind of gloss over some of the crudeness, not just crudeness, but just some of the typical behavior of high schoolers and make them looking a bit innocent and such, but it's not really like that. I mean, come on, seniors in high school, they do just about everything. I really liked how realistic the characters are, especially like with the story and the plot, and it's such a great contemporary book. I definitely recommend it to all contemporary fans. The best for last. No, they're all good. They're all amazing. They're all the best for me. But this, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Oh my god, I'm still like book hungover because I went to Jenny Han's signing yesterday and I got it signed. I just had to show this because hello, I got it signed. And she actually recognized me from Twitter, which is why she said, "For Juhina, see you on Twitter, XOXO." And she was so awesome. She read Peter's love letter, and the way that she read it was so awesome. I just really loved her. I just love Jenny Han. I love this book so much, if you could not tell. I actually didn't even open the cover. Oh my god, it's pink. It's pink. And apparently, Jenny Han actually went to the photo shoot of this, and a lot of the pictures and stuff on the wall are actually hers, which is really cool. So I love this book. I love all Jenny Han's books. Her summer trilogy is one of my all-time favorites. This one is just so amazing. I will be doing a review of this. This one's about a girl who writes a love letter for every boy she's crushed on, loved, whatever, and she writes them to herself, and she writes these love letters when she has finally come to the point where she's done loving them and she wants to move on. And that's when she writes them, and then she puts them in a hat box. She doesn't intend to mail it to them, obviously. But then one day she comes home and finds that all the letters have been mailed to every single guy. So she has to basically face the repercussions of such a disaster. There's a lot of cuteness going on, so much cuteness. I love her relationship with her sisters and the Song Girls. They call it the Song Girls. And she's half Korean, which is awesome. Yay for diversity. I will be rereading it because I can't not. I need to reread this. I will be rereading it soon. So you all need to buy it and start reading it because, I mean, I will just buy this book for the cover. But Jenny Han's name is on it. So I will buy any book that Jenny Han's name is on because I love her so much. So yes, this is the last book. Really good. I would definitely recommend it to every contemporary fan out there. So these are all the books with the exception of two, which are Don't Look Back and The Secrets of Lily Graves. I loved every single one of these books. I definitely recommend every single one of these books to you all. So there's a lot. There's like high fantasy, dystopian, paranormal, and contemporary, and mystery. So I'm pretty sure you would like one of these. Let me know if you guys want any reviews of these books. But I pretty much have written reviews of almost every single one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I convinced you to read a couple of these books and trilogies / series. And have a nice day. See you in the next video. Bye!